Yeah, very good evening to you. My name is Theophilus van Rensburg-Linster, and that tune that you're hearing is our signature tune for this particular broadcast. Broadcasting live from Stockholm in Sweden, and we do this broadcast weekly in support of vocational training in agriculture in South Africa. And the reason why we broadcast details and information about that is to raise awareness for this project. This project is aimed at improving the knowledge and skills for young people, especially in rural South Africa, where unemployment is rife and where depression and lack of hope dooms a lot of young people to meaninglessness and not just unemployment, but a life that has very, very little purpose to it. Not that there's no purpose in life, there is, but circumstances are really, really tough. And this project aims to increase knowledge and skills within agriculture so that young people can explore agriculture as a viable career to start off with, and find a job, become more employable in the agriculture space on a farm or a nursery, or alternatively go study. Some of our students that we have had the honor to support and help have actually gone to study further. And then thirdly, this has not happened so much, but I would really like to see it more, is that young people can start their own businesses. That would be fantastic. And that screenshot that you see right now, there's a quick response code, and you can, if you want to help support what we do in South Africa, you're more than welcome to go there and donate. Okay, so normally we have guests here with us, and I'm going to introduce our guests right away. We've met at the Green Tech, I think a good number of years ago, at least 2 years ago. That's us. Good evening. Hi, everybody. Good to have you. Good to be here with you. My a colleague this evening that is sharing this particular space with me is none other than Roemer Goossensen, all the way from the Netherlands, but our paths collide here in Stockholm, in Sweden. Do you remember when we met?
Yes, for sure.
You do?
That was a couple of years ago, maybe just before this whole COVID corona things erupted in the world.
Okay, so that was it 20, no, so it can't be 2019, maybe 2020, early 2020?
I think early 2020 at the Green Tech in Amsterdam.
Okay. That would have been June then. I almost think it was later, but it was definitely at Green Tech, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. It was very strange to see in a South African company,
Yeah.
organization,
Yes.
at an international fair where they promoted Dutch glass houses and anything with what is Dutch. So
Yes.
yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, to
Yeah.
be honest. Yes.
And you know what? It's still a surprise for people because we have not stopped since that first meeting. We have consistently placed ourselves out there in the space at Green Tech because, and here's the reason, Roemer, the thing is this, if we as educators know what new innovations are happening within agriculture, then we can modify the way we teach our young people in order for them to be employable beyond South Africa.
Yeah, sure.
Because, I mean, I know there's a great deal of innovation that at this stage we don't really need in South Africa because we've got such a high percentage of arable land, number one. We have long planting and harvesting seasons. Sometimes you can grow potatoes, 2 rotations in one particular year. We have no difficulty with sun, and lots of
we have
and so a lot of the innovations that happen in the north is for us at this particular point not such a big driver in the agriculture space, but it's going to happen. And so we would like to be prepared for that. So that's the reason why we place ourselves in green tech. And so, and then of course, opportunities like this emerge eventually. We have threatened to do some work together in South Africa. And so I hope that this could be another sort of stepping stone in that direction. So I've appreciated connecting with Roemer because we share some common concerns. And tonight we basically want to start a discussion. We're going to have a couple of sessions on Saturday. We are back live. And Sven will join us at that particular point. You will not be here, but you could probably join us. We could maybe even call you in, if the time fits. We'll see how that works.
We'll see.
Yes.
I doubt, but maybe yes,
Yes.
maybe no.
We'll see. But thank you so very much, firstly, for giving of your time for this. I know you're on a business trip here in Sweden, and it was good that we stayed in touch and that to make this conversation possible, because I really think the issue of water, water scarcity, and taking care of all kinds of initiatives to protect the integrity of this particular source and resource, which is indispensable. It is vital to life. It is vital to agriculture in this particular space, but much more than that, is of course. So you and I have talked about a couple of questions that we want to be thinking through, and so we'll work through them. But maybe Roemer, just to share a little bit about yourself. If you had to introduce yourself in say 60 seconds, what would you say?
Okay, well, this is like an elevator pitch, but I miss the elevator. Well, basically, I'm involved in decentralized water solutions for 12 years now. And before that, I worked as account manager in fast-moving consumer goods and as forwarding agent for in the logistics. So I've done a lot of things, but I think this is the most interesting field so far. And decentralized water solutions are, in my opinion, the good solution for preserving, as you said, the precious water, and makes also life maybe comfortable, maybe healthier in case you are get rid of all the bacteria. And also there's a lack of sanitation services all around the world. It's not specific Africa, it's in Latin America and Asia and India. And yeah, it would be nice if there can be a solution for this to improve the living conditions of billions of people. So that's the driver for me now to focus really on this topic.
And your trip to Sweden was to present part of the solution?
Yeah, I have a very close cooperation with NOAA Water Solutions in Belgium. And we are working on innovative technology to treat the wastewater. And we are now really focusing on the sanitation side, so the black water from the toilets and the gray water from the showers in combination or as separate streams. And yeah, we want to see, okay, how is our technology received here? How do they see this as just another solution, or as something what brings more than just clean water, but also gives disinfection, gives removal of the persistent pollutants like the PFAS, the microplastics. Everybody's talking about it, but maybe it's maybe time to have a solution for it.
Right. So much more than just water purification, then.
In that case, yes. If you can encapsulate, so to say, the pollutants, then you are a step further.
Right.
But of course, it gives a new problem because you have to get rid of the sludge. So you have to look for holistic solutions. But at least the water quality, what you discharge in the nature again, or what you want to reuse in your house, that's of a good quality and it's safe because the bacteria are out of the water.
It's interesting because I think they've just had an interesting discussion in the Swedish media the last week. I don't know if you were made aware of that, but about a week ago in the Swedish media, there were reports about water levels being very, very low, and so people were cautioned that there may become some restrictions and guidelines that would curb consumption. I don't know if your colleague shared something about that.
No, I've not seen that, but I know it from the Dutch situation, that we have another dry year and we have a lot of droughts.
Wow.
And you can see the levels in the canals that they are lower than normal.
Yeah.
I assume it's a worldwide problem. It's a problem in Europe as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But the rainfall is not as normal as we are used to. So if we can say, okay, we're happy, we have a dry summer. On the other hand, we also need the water to grow the crops and to maintain gardens and to have a healthy ecologic environment, and because it also depends on the water.
Right. And I was asking you earlier because I'm thinking about the South African situation in terms of our, we talk about food security, but also water security. And I know a good number of years ago, I mean, we had huge difficulties where there were such a lot of notices all over the place. Avis, car hire said they don't wash their cars. That was like a notice given when you rent a car. In the hotels, there were these signs, and they were saying that they don't wash the towels as regularly, so it would be advisable for you to use your towels a little bit more before you expect them to be washed. And so this has been an issue, and of course there were lots of discussions about who's to blame, and politics come into the play. But one of the things that I have, apart from our low rainfall in South Africa, one of the points that I found quite interesting was that South Africa used more water per capita than the international average. And I could not fully understand that, but could you just speak a little bit about how would they measure that? What do they mean?
Yeah, that can mean that for the overall consumption of everything, including the meat processing and let's say the food processing in general,
Yeah.
it could be that is calculated in total. If you look simply only on the household level,
Right.
then I'm not sure if that's correct, because I know that in the United States they have an average of 400 to 600 liters per person per day.
Wow.
Maybe that includes also the nice swimming pools.
Yes.
Which need to be refreshed, of course, very regular.
Yes.
And in Europe we have, let's say, it's about 120 to 150 liters per person per day. And in the less developed countries, I assume it is much less.
Yes.
Than this, because there is not abundance of water.
So that would be something good to look at. But we've certainly had droughts, our fair share of droughts in South Africa. Low rainfalls has definitely significantly impacted sort of agricultural output, particularly. And then the issue of water pollution, both industrial and agricultural, runoff sewage, was highlighted as a real issue that we need to address and be aware of. I remember in visiting some rural areas in one particular town in the Southern Cape in South Africa. It was just so evident that people were dumping a great deal of things like next to the river and not having this consideration as to what that waste would actually do to the quality of the water.
Well, the quality of the water deteriorates. That's simple. It's not only about, let's say, the chemical substances which are in it. We call that the COD levels, but also about the risks for health. The bacteria are growing in this moderate warm water. They feel themselves comfortable, so they are increasing their volume, so to say, and it can cause new illnesses.
Right.
So it's not it is a matter of the availability of the water, but it's also about um, if it's a healthy water or not. If it's a
Yes.
risk for the health, a risk for the people living in the surrounding of an open sewage.
Mm. Yeah, so those are very, very crucial points there, and point to some things that we need to be aware of in South Africa. And I'm very thankful for this discussion, because I think it's beginning to, maybe for our students and our teachers, stimulate an interest in, number one, understanding a lot more about the state of our water security, so to speak, and then number two, aligning ourselves with, or just making every effort to find out what solutions are out there. We always say, don't try to reinvent things that have already been made. But so sometimes it's good to, but in order to do that, to avoid doing something, you need to know what's happening. And so your particular innovation, could you talk a little bit about that, Roemer? What is it that that your innovation brings to this whole matter of, let's call it water security?
Mm. Well, the traditional way of treating wastewater is the biological treatment. So you use bacteria and aeration to clean the water. We are following a different way, and we use electrochemistry. So it means that we dose by electrical current. We are dosing ions into the water, and then we get, simply said, a separation. A separation because of floc formation. So we separate the flocks from the water. The flocks is, we call that a slurry. You take that apart, and the water is then passes a second treatment method, which is electrooxidation, and then we kill all the bacteria. So then we have safe water available for what you want. You can wash your car. You can use it for irrigation if that's allowed. You can infiltrate in the soil if that's allowed. And because we are separating the fecal matter, the human feces, and we also have the disinfection, the killing of the pathogens in the sludge for a high content, it also means that you can breach the circle of the helminth contamination, the soil-borne contamination. And that could be beneficial. So I think there are a couple of things which are interested. The availability of cleaner water for a second purpose, not only flushing your toilet or taking a shower, but also for gardening or for small-scale farming.
Yeah.
There are still some nutrients in the water. The sludge contains always a lot of nutrients, but it depends on where you are, if it's allowed to reuse the sludge.
Yes.
And also you have to be sure that there are no high concentration of heavy metals, for example, in it, because that destroys your soil. But that's your piece. You know that better than I do.
No, well, but I'm just thinking as a layman, I'm trying to figure that out. So you have a water purification solution, for want of a better word. And then after that, do you also then, whatever you have purified, how do you determine what is used for agriculture, or what is used for your car wash, or what was?
That is up to the people.
Right.
Yeah. If your profession is to grow crop, then I would say, okay, don't use it to clean your car, because this water is valuable. You don't have to buy it. You have already bought it.
Right.
From the water utility.
Yeah.
And now you can reuse it again.
Got it.
And I think this is the way forward. Decentralized solutions. I mean, you will not make big sewer networks in rural Africa. But you also want to have a healthy environment, a healthy population. You do not want to destroy your groundwater because of the input of nitrates from the urine. So if you can treat the water, there is a multiple effect on it.
Right. Is there also a need if you talk about water then to be used after the purification system for agriculture, to then treat that water with new nutrients depending on the crop growing.
You mean adding additional nutrition in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could very well be. Because we are first focusing on cleaning the water.
Yeah.
And the second step is, of course, okay, do an analysis of what is in the water and what do you need to grow your crop.
Yeah. That one I have to do in any way. Doesn't matter. You have to, if you use, even in a controlled environment, if you use water, you need to know exactly what the pH levels are and what the nutrients are required for that particular crop.
Yep.
So that almost goes without saying. But I'm just thinking, it is the focus more on households in your solution then, or what is that market that you are targeting?
The technology itself can be used also in the industry, also in food industry. You have always to look, okay, what type of industry is it? For example, if we talk about slaughterhouses, it is very well possible to treat that water in the different stages of a production process. Because if you apply this technology, it has a low space requirement. So, for example, if you have a slaughterhouse for chicken, and the chicken come in crates, you wash the crates, and if you can reuse that water for a longer period of time, it will save you a lot of water already. So, in all the processes, you can look, okay, what do I want to achieve in that process? Is this the appropriate technology? Oh, yes or no? And if yes, then you can apply it.
Absolutely.
So it's a cascading, and even from the points where you need high quality water, you can reuse the treated water at positions where there is a lower risk of cross-contamination, for example.
It's amazing. If you have just stumbled on this channel, whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or any other channel, my name is Theophilus van Rensburg-Linster, and I am accompanied here by none other than Roemer Goossensen. He wants me to make sure that I say that correctly. It's always important to get the names right.
You are learning fast.
Thank you.
You are learning fast.
And Roemer and myself are talking through some of the solutions that his company are providing into the space of, particularly, we call it water purification, just to maybe make it more simpler for most of our listeners, I suppose. Mostly for our students, because these broadcasts are also valuable in terms of the content that we're able to share, and hopefully this stimulates thinking. So thank you for joining us. Roemer, I just want to pull up, there were some slides here that you wanted to maybe just emphasize to help explain what it is which I think is such a unique solution that you're providing. And should I bring this one up first here, or?
Well, to the first one, I think it's better that we explain a little bit about
this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What you see here on the slide is the basic principles, what we apply in the technology. On the left side, you see the electrocoagulation. Coagulate is to clump particles together. So in the case of a domestic wastewater from the households, we are treating the shower water and the toilet water, and all the particles we are bringing together by electrical current. We apply to electrodes. It sounds very nerdy, but okay. Don't go too deep in the technical. On the right side, you see the electro-oxidation, and you can oxidize all the micropollutants, and you do the disinfection. So it means that, for example, pharmaceutical residues are oxidized, destroyed at a large part, which is also very good for the environment. So this is basically a technology we apply in what we call an electrical cell, and that's the other slide you can show. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. We call it also a cartridge. It's like the printer. You use it, and when it's empty, you exchange it for a new cartridge. And we have a sacrificing electrode inside. So when all the aluminium is dosed, then you need a new aluminium to continue your treatment. Because it is a very basic design, and you do not need to have a study in chemistry to understand it. It can also work as a service model. So that means that if you produce locally or assemble locally the systems, you also have a service model by swapping the cartridges. And I think this is very important in the context of Africa in general, but also Latin America, India. If you can make some money out of your sanitation services, then you have a means to live and you have a means to build up your own company.
Absolutely, and do something really good
Exactly.
at the same time.
Yeah. So we look into the options for this, and the options is really fun. Is really how can we make this business model work? People, people must understand that they have to pay for the water. Sorry. On the other hand, you get good service. You have proper household.
Absolutely.
And it's a decent solution.
So that's a unit that can basically just be deployed almost immediately, isn't it? This is a household setting we're talking about here.
This is the household setting, but you can also go on community level, so then you multiply the number of cells.
Yeah.
So you can also go for 5 cubic meters a day, for example, 5,000 liters, and then you have water available for 4,800 liters.
Oh, I know that most municipalities in South Africa, I'm sure I have seen, they have these units in every little village that basically deals with water purification, taking the municipal water and ensuring that it's drinkable. Is this a sort of turnkey solution that can be attached to that, or how do you see its connection to some of the solutions within water purification on the continent?
And you talk about the clean water side.
Yeah.
Well, basically, you can add a sanitation unit if there is no sanitation in the houses. You build a sanitation block, and you add this to the sanitation block, meaning that at the end the water is available again. So the water is available where you produce it,
right,
or where you use it first. So I think the reuse options, that's something which makes it interesting, especially on the community level.
Right. And that's what's different here, right? It's the reuse, because I think with municipal, as I understand it, maybe there's some things that I need to learn in that space too, but as I understand it, water purification solutions in these communities are intended to ensure the quality of the water as drinkable for human consumption.
That is for the clean water side, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but after clean water, you use the water, and then we call it wastewater.
Yeah.
But we say, okay, we treat the water, and after that we have reclaimed water. And the reclaimed water is usable for other things than drinking water.
Sure.
You can also call it technical water for the car washing we already mentioned.
Yes.
But okay, if you're a farmer, then still I would prefer to use it somewhere on the land.
Right.
So, but also, and something we have not touched yet, is okay about energy. So
Yes.
we talked about it before.
Yes.
Water, energy, food,
Yes.
and education. So these three first one, water, energy, and food, they can only be sustained if there's education.
Yes.
That's what we talked first in Amsterdam
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. And it's on all levels, not just to basically be a better student, but also just strengthening human behavior to be able to deal with, in this case, to do your part in that second sort of phase, after in your responsibility in in helping to manage wastewater for reuse does expect you need to know what you're doing. There's a lot of knowledge there, and you were saying earlier it's not rocket science, right? So but there are there are some things that you need to know basically that will probably help you to not do certain things, and negatively stated, but also then positively stated, get you to be involved in some activities that can improve your usage of wastewater. But then for the students in these communities, if they increase their knowledge or an understanding of the science here, but also some of the solutions, part of which we have already done, then that's the kind of knowledge where you can say, this is really making a difference. It's not just putting money in my pocket, but we are being wise stewards of managing waste, and we don't always think like that. But we need education, and this is where our emphasis on getting young people more knowledgeable, so that they can be part of the solution. And I was mentioning earlier, one of the things that we've not really seen come out of our educational projects is young people starting their own businesses. But I'm beginning to see that this could be really one of those. There were some other questions that I had, but before I go to that, on the energy side of things, remind me now, what was it that was what were the important questions that we talked about through when we think about water and energy?
You need energy to operate a treatment plant. It doesn't matter if it's a drinking water plant or a wastewater treatment plant. You always need energy. Also, and then the combination to food, if you want to process food or if you want to store your crop, you need energy for cooling most of the time, or heating if you process fruits to marmalades or whatever.
Sure.
So our basic thinking was, okay, if you generate electricity, you have a source for setting up your businesses. You can improve your the yield of your crops because it stays longer in your warehouse, so to say. It's longer available at a better quality, so you're gaining your money for a longer period of time. But you need energy. If you need water, you need to have energy to purify the water to make it as reclaimed water for your irrigation purposes or your technical water for washing your car. Or maybe you want to have a car wash and you use the water from your neighbors to wash their cars.
Yes.
That could be an option as well.
Sure.
So yeah, energy is one of the driving forces, I think, for development of small-scale businesses. And it's also interesting to see the tendency into decentralized solutions. Let's say in the past, which is maybe 10 or 20 years ago, we had huge factories where they produce energy. And they put it in a cable and they pushed it towards the households. So nowadays there are many households who are off the gridless. So they're totally independent from the grid. And the same you can see in water treatment. It's useless to start building a huge sewage network in South Africa. But if you can start using renewable energy and small-scale systems to treat the water locally, what they consume, and what you can reuse in the same area, same community, that makes sense.
Or as you put it earlier, to decentralize the process.
Yeah.
That's what you meant, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
And so it's very, very clear. And my good friend Sven, when we talk on Saturday, we're going to take this up again. And is it so that there's a case to be made that when we talk about dealing with the issue of water scarcity or flooding and pollution, and especially in terms of its impact on agriculture, that this is one of those solutions there, that can help address that, so that you reuse water instead of just letting it go. It's a resource that you can reuse. Is it your sense from what you see or hear in the industry or in the talks in the chambers of people talk about money and investment, that there is are there indications that there are more interest in investing in some of these solutions, call it water tech or whatever we want to call it? Do you notice that?
The interest to invest in water is higher than in the past. And that has a lot of things to do with the climate change, and also to build resilient communities. But at the end, an investor always wants his money back.
Sure.
And for example, in industry, the large industries or the corporates, there's a kind of time frame of 3 years, 3.5 years that they want to have the investment back. I think in the water tech, it's more difficult to say, okay, in 3 years' time, you have your money back. So that is also, I think, the problem that the time before you have your investment back is longer, so you need to be more patient. So then you come more in the for the investors who really look into the societal problems and who want to solve societal problems with their money. So they are more patient. On the other hand, it could well be if you combine energy production with water treatment, that you're somewhere ending up in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's say 5 years. Because then you have two legs to stand on.
Sure.
One is simply selling the electricity, and the other one is treating the wastewater, and use this for an increased crop yield.
Yeah.
Or a continuous crop yield.
So it means like smart investment would tackle both of them?
That would be nice. It's the ideal world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a way to, in a way, to mitigate some risks, as you say, because the two are, the more we are learning and talking through this, I'm beginning to see just how important it is to speak both about energy and water use and reuse in the same breath. So that's fascinating. I'll throw one more question here. Apart from the time it takes, for a return on investment, what are the, from your point of view, as, if I can call you this, as the innovative side of things, where you are coming up with solutions, in this particular case, waste water management, right, or purification. what is it that you would want to see more from investors um, to in a way strengthen your hand, or to be aware of? Because we talk about slow return on investment, is patience required there? But are there other kind of characteristics that you expect from investors in relation to the tech development side of things?
Yeah, that's a bit difficult to say. The international financial institutes, they are also looking for more decentralized solutions. But in our case, it's maybe hyper individualized. Yeah, it's on the community level, 50, 100 people.
Yeah.
Small communities in that case. We can scale up, of course. But also you have to look into the revenue stream. For example, people, in the case of Holland, we pay taxes for treating the water. So we pay 300, 400, 500 euros a year, and then our wastewater is treated. So if there's a secure revenue stream for treating the water, then the investment is also easier, because then you have a kind of a business case. So you get 500 and you spend 500, and at the end you have 0, but the problem is solved.
Sure. Right.
And I think this mechanism is lacking in a lot of countries, not only in Africa, not only in South Africa, but in many countries. And that's also causing the problem. So if there is a will on community level to say, oh, we want to do it different, maybe you have to make a cooperative, say, okay, we produce energy for ourselves, and we treat the wastewater for ourselves.
Right.
And we do good farming for ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you look from that perspective, you only need investment money for your energy production.
Right. That's interesting, because you have support from another angle. Yeah. Is this part of the what I, in my view, is this unique model in the Netherlands, where you have this symbiosis, or this triple helix, where government, business, and education are constantly engaged to maybe mitigate the risk, or what do you?
I think the point of view from governments is different than education than businesses. And right. Businesses, of course, we want to make money.
Yes.
And education, we want to have the best students. And governments, and I'm not sure what governments are doing, but they do a good job.
Yes.
Very political, I know.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, there is a kind of alignment, but I don't see that very well.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think if there's nothing that you better take action yourself if you have the means and the possibilities and the motivation to do it.
Right.
And if you don't have the means, I clearly understand that then it is very, very difficult to do something.
Yeah.
So a kind of capital available to start somewhere, that would be perfect, especially for countries like South Africa. So,
sure. It's very clear from what I know, especially for something that I've read earlier today, that in Sweden there's a real concerted effort to understand the technology necessary for water purification, number one, but also to invest in that there. So there are calls for investors, and that means that there's a growing clarity of the problem, number one, a growing understanding of what needs to be done, and then thirdly, potentially a healthy investor core, if you can call it that, that's willing to put the funding in. And so that's very, very encouraging on the long run. We need that support. And of course, if as we are winding down now, There's also the South African connection, and so you are in contact and collaboration in discussion with partners in South Africa.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if you wanted to say something about that.
Yes, we have a good cooperation with Cineramas in Nelspruit, Mombella. He's doing nice projects also in, let's say, in lifting up youngsters to do training. So that's perfect. And we still want to see how we can align wastewater treatment with his activities. He is already very active in ecosystems and in this education and in training. So yeah, we can make a good combination with a lot of knowledge we have, and that's also our wish, that we have at least support, financial support, to, for example, start piloting the combination of water, food, energy, and education. How can you build an ecosystem around that? We can talk about it, but if you can start, it would be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't start and do something, there's nothing that you can measure. And so talking does
Yep.
not help.
No,
I think we are all convinced that this is a major issue. Not
It
just
is.
water usage, but certainly the reuse of water. There are technologies available. Yeah. That's it, as we would say. So for those of you who joined us, thank you so very much. We're going to say goodnight from myself, Theophilus van Rensburg Linster, and my guest here all the way from the Netherlands, colliding here with me in Stockholm in Sweden. Roemer, thank you so very much for your time.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was good to have you here. I learned quite a lot, and I have to put my thinking cap on, and I hope some of our students will benefit from this. You're more than welcome to return to this platform and find a way to maybe review what we have discussed this evening. There's a lot of good knowledge that I think that came out, Roemer, so I appreciate that. You see on your screen there an opportunity to donate to the work that we do for uplifting young people in South Africa through strengthening their ability to know more, do more, and in so doing, earn more, so that they not only can live a meaningful life themselves, but strengthen the community to enable it to shine and go beyond the difficulties that poverty and other circumstances inflict on them. We are back this coming Saturday at 7 p.m. and you're more than welcome to join us. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
All right.
Never knew to love.